Welcome back to another episode of Prepper Talk Radio. We are super excited to help you become more prepared and self-reliant. We are radio for the ready-minded, and we want to help you with God, family, and country, and help you become more prepared and self-reliant. Today, in our podcast, we're going to talk about dog and cat kits. We're going to talk about some other kits, and we're going to just kind of continue our conversation from the podcast a couple of times ago where we focused in on kits. So make sure to stay tuned to the end of the podcast. You're not going to want to miss the information we're going to share with you about the kit information that we're going to have. We're going to get into some real detail, and you're not going to want to miss it. So we're going to be updating our website soon. So make sure you go to preppertalkradio.com and sign up for our email lists. Make sure you're hitting our social media. We're growing really fast on a lot of our social medias. So we're really excited about that. We're going to actually be super excited to announce pretty soon. We're in talks right now with some sponsors. We have some affiliate links that we're setting up and we're getting ready. All of those things help to support the show. We'd really appreciate the opportunity to have you guys support the show with some of our favorite gear, our favorite companies. All these companies that we're going to do this with are some of the ones that we would buy stuff from, and we are buying stuff from and have bought stuff from. So it's going to be the kind of stuff that you're going to want to have in your portfolio of products and gear and equipment for your preparing needs. And let's jump into talking about some kits now. It's just continuing the discussion from the 2 weeks ago. I think we had a discussion on kits. Mm-hmm. And we really got into some great discussion. If you haven't listened to that podcast, go back and listen to that podcast. I think it's podcast 169. And it's about kits.
We always run out of time. We always run out of time. There's never enough time.
Right. So we forgot to talk. The one thing we forgot to talk about that we promised we'd talk about in that one was dog and cat or pet kits. And what to do if you have a dog or cat. Almost every prepper I've met has a dog or a cat or an animal of some kind.
Two of each.
So it's critical. Yeah. So what are some things? I got a list. I went to my local city, had a preparedness fair, and there was a lady there with a booth, and she was with the Utah Community Animal Response Program. And she had a whole list of things for dog and cat evacuation checklists. And so we're going to scan this in, and we're going to make it available on our resources page on our website. So if you aren't already on our resources page, make sure to go to preppertalkradio.com and click the resources page and enter your email address and get access to those resources, because this will be up there. So what do you guys want to talk about regarding dog and cat evacuation kits?
Well, maybe read off your list there. And honestly, that's not something I've honestly spent a lot of time with. I think animals can fend for themselves when it comes to SHTF. That's kind of been my attitude. But I do have a good supply of pet food, dog, cat food. Just like for us, I got 3 months of our food on the cupboard shelves, in the cupboards. I got 3 months for the animals too. So
yeah, I think that's important. The key. Like my brother-in-law, they're urban homesteaders, and so they've got a dog, and then they've got all of these other, a couple dogs in the house, but all these other animals, chickens, quail, and everything else. And one of the biggest things he's always done is he's got a pack that he puts on his dog, that if there's a disaster, it's got all the food, collapsible bowls, like everything the dog needs, including medications, in this little harness that completely connects. And he's like, and on top of that, he's like, the dog will carry another 15 pounds of my stuff. And I'm like,
nice,
wise.
A pack animal.
He's got little kids, and so it's a pack animal. And I think that's super wise. I mean, you can go through the list of things that we recommend, but like, I don't have pets other than my fish, and that's going to be a tiny, tiny, tasty little morsel. But like, other than that, like, what do you do?
Storage?
Most of the homesteaders have plenty of food for their animals,
and they should. They should be storing their feed, all the feed they need, because that's having problems too, obviously.
Yep. So let me just read down this list here. The basic supplies. It talks about a pet carrier. If you want to interrupt me and discuss any of these, let's jump in. A leash or a harness, of course. Collar with ID. A muzzle, waterproof container, bedding, blanket or towel, and some toys. Phone numbers. A list of phone numbers for the veterinarian. And medications, like we talked about already, about different medicines that your dog needs. A basic first aid kit for your dog. A month's supply of flea, tick, and a heartworm preventative. That's something I wouldn't have thought of. records, rabies certificate, vaccination and health records, microchip paperwork if you have that, most recent heartworm test, most recent FIV test, photos of you and your pet. And the lady said that's important because if your dog or cat gets lost and you have something that you might have found a dog, it's important to have a picture with you and the dog. That way they can confirm, hey, you really are the owner. You have a picture with them, because sometimes that can be important. You don't want to have your dog get lost. Somebody says they found it and then somebody else goes and picks it up and has a perfect description because they saw your picture on the telephone pole or whatever, and your dog's gone now into some trafficking or whatever. So if the person the pet is with you, you're not the person with the right person.
Never heard of pet trafficking before. I guess
gets sold for meat, right?
If it's a good dog,
this is good dog.
It is real though. There's a legit thing about pet trafficking. So animals can get trafficked as well. Yeah. Feed and water, which we talked about already, and then waste management. Litter box, cage liners, paper towels, plastic bags, disinfectant. And have a can opener too, because a lot of animals, the food is in a can, and you want to have a can opener to go with it. Scott. We already had a funny conversation about how the guy was in the bunker and the nuclear wars or whatever's going off, and they're like, "We got all these cans of food. Where's the can opener? Shoot, I forgot the can opener."
First, I just shared that on our LinkedIn today.
Did you? That's awesome.
I need to share it on all the other platforms. But yeah, I think one of the things to add is, like, if you've got medications for your dog or cat or whatever animal you've got with you, ways to deliver that medication, and also a first aid kit for that animal. One of the things we always had problems with one of my dogs is he would never take any medication you gave him. You could put it in gravy, like anything you put it in, he'd say no.
Cream cheese.
I didn't like cream cheese. What he did, he did, but not this way. If you put a pill with cream cheese, he would spit it out. He'd keep the cream cheese. If you put a pill with cheddar cheese, he would start chewing, and then he'd be like, and then spit everything out. If we did peanut butter and cheese, he would gobble that crap up. And I'm like, oh, that's a weird combo. But the peanut butter ensured that it stuck to him. And he couldn't just vomit it back out, but he's like, oh. And it was amazing. And so it's like having a little bit of that, if that's what you need to get your animal to take the medications they need, like, awesome. Like,
peanut butter is a great survival food. Just keep a can in your car, just keep a jar in your car. Great survival food.
We actually had a guy at the Be Prepared Expo with peanut butter and crackers, and those crackers were not World War II. They were
World War I.
No, I think they were like Vietnam.
Oh, really?
So, like, they were way back 60s, 70s crackers. And he's like, I just opened these today. How do they taste? And I'm like,
I'm not tasting them.
Like crackers. Like, well, there's MRE style military grade crackers that were sealed in these big metal tins that are like almost 5 gallons. And you put peanut butter on it. And he's like, yeah, this peanut butter's been around for 20 years. My grandpa had 50-year-old peanut butter.
Wow.
And it was still, but you could eat it. Like, it was drier, and it was harder to spread. It was military grade, but like he would make sandwiches for us with that stuff. So you'd be surprised how long things will last and still be edible. Like, especially military grade peanut butter. Like, it lasts longer than military grade paint.
Just be careful with those expiration dates. I
caught that there. I didn't register for a second there, Scott.
Just check it for lead.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's so funny.
Oh man.
I was just gonna say those expiration dates are often just nonsense, because I was so funny. I saw this meme, and it was pink Himalayan million-year-old Himalayan salt, and the expiration date was next year. I'm like, really? It made it 1,000,000 years, and then it got packaged, and now it's going to expire because you just throw the date on there.
Yep.
So it's just be careful about those things. Last way longer than the expiration date is. I think there's a conspiracy to get us to buy more stuff and throw it away because on that date, so that we can buy more stuff. So
no doubt.
Don't fall for that one. So
best if used by also.
Anything else about dog, cat, pet kits? Anything else you guys can think of?
I think you pretty much nailed it. I mean, food, sanitation, medication, like those. A way to keep them warm. Like if it's super cold weather, you've got to have shelter for you and your pet.
Yeah, and that's another way to get the kids involved too. Okay, this is your dog, this is your cat. You got to prepare for the emergency for them too. So
yeah, and that's kind of those small animals. If you have a bird or a different kind of animal that's a pet, just adjust what you can think of to
just set it free. Just
let it fly. And more often than not, it'll probably be safer just doing that than sticking around with you.
Just don't, if it's a parrot or any kind of bird that can repeat things, just make sure you don't tell them where your bug out location is, where you're going, what's happening, because then the marauders will know.
Yeah.
And it won't be hard to press it to tell, we're going to cook you, or you tell us where they went.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely want to
easy
watch
choice.
out for that.
I'm on one today. I love you guys.
Polly does not want a cracker in that situation. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about the next item here is women's needs. I know that's something you want to talk about, Scott, that women's needs in a bug out kit or a grab and go bag, more importantly.
Yeah, I keep getting reminded on this because we're men, but we're all married. And I think one of the things that we always had to take care of, especially with my wife, it's like she was a little adverse to prepping a little bit when we first started. But I've been doing this my whole life. And now she's like way above and beyond what I ever expected. The adoption rate of prepping for her has just been like, I got it. We need this now and this, and we got to do this, and you got to learn this, and I got to learn that, and we got to do this. And so like making sure you have all the feminine products that she needs, as well as like morale items, right? With kids, you need to have candy, right? But even the very basic of like a makeup pencil can make the world of difference on psychological situations during the trauma and the trials. So like always have like a mirror, which can also be used as a signal mirror.
The ability to stay clean, right? To wipes. I have a whole bunch of baby wipes, right? Because those are easy to throw in every single car, throw them in a backpack, easy to keep your hands clean, wipe your face. You feel so much better after being able to wipe your face off, and feel clean that way. And I feel it too. It's not for the girls and the women,
Well, and you added something to your stuff this week, right? You want to lift that bag up and show us?
Oh, I already put right here. Yeah,
you already put it away.
I
think this goes right in line with that. It's a huge pack.
It's a huge bag. It was, a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I've got 4 daughters, and I got one daughter she's expecting. I'm going to be a grandpa. Yay!
Woo-hoo.
And
Congrats.
This is a emergency childbirth kit. So I got that at doomandbloommedical.com, not sponsors, but they got some good stuff. And I purchased the how to be a midwife, some type of midwife manual. My wife, she grabbed it. She's running with it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's how my wife is too.
I remember a couple of weeks ago, Shane, in our big discussion on kits, you're like, the women don't need a full makeup kit, and they don't necessarily need a full makeup kit, but a couple little items there to keep that morale, it would be nice so that they feel like they look pretty still. So that's a legit recommendation, Scott. If
that fits their needs list, right?
Sure.
Some women, they don't even wear makeup, right? Some women understand, like in this kind of environment and situation, forget it, right? I'm alive. I don't care about everything.
They're happy for it because they don't want to put the darn makeup on, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to take it off either.
And the other thing is, like, there's other types of things that a female might want. Like when you're hiking, if you're on a bug out journey, or you're driving down the road and you've got to pull over, and they've got to take care of business, right? They don't want to have to expose the rear and everything else to the world
or
to take care of things.
Half a mile.
Right. And so there are tools you can get to help them. There's these little
Go Girl.
I forget what they're called. Go Girl. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got. My wife got a couple of those. And there's so many other different types of products as well that they can use. But look at the list we've got in the site, because there are those types of criteria taken care of. So you can know, oh, this is the product to look for. But that way they can stand there and take care of business just like a guy without having to drop trowel. And it'll keep you going quicker. It'll keep them feeling more comfortable and secured and protected.
Yeah.
And so make sure you're taking consideration of that. Like, guys, for all the guys that listen to us, listen to your wife, like what her needs are, like make sure you take care of those.
Yeah.
Because in a crap down scenario, like you want to make sure your wife is as happy as possible, so that she can be a 100% partner in getting stuff taken care of on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
If she's completely miserable and you didn't take care of those needs, like that's on you.
And here's my 2 bits is get the stuff now and have them try the products so that they're comfortable now, and that, no, I don't like this, let's try this. No, I don't like that, let's try that. Figure that out now. And so they're not uncomfortable when they're already uncomfortable.
Right.
I think that's a great thing to think about too, not just for the grab and goes, but if you have like your 90-day supply. I have my wife has a whole set of pads and tampons, and we have a stack, and we have in our pantry closet thing, we have a stack of all the feminine products. My daughters, I have 3 daughters. Well, 2 of them live with me. One of them has, needs that way. The other one's only 8 or 9 years old, so she's not there yet. But I have a stack of all that stuff. So, and a stash of all that stuff. And it's fun because, they'll yell from the, not to get too graphic, but they'll yell and say, hey, we're out of this. And I'll say, okay, good news. We don't have to run to the store because I got it downstairs in the pantry and I can just go and replenish. And then I have plenty, so that when I go to the store, I just replenish and refill that and just move that along. So it's not just food in your storage and in your stash. You've got to have these items. I have shampoos, I have soaps, I have toothpastes, I have, all of that. So it's just not just women's items. It's all the items for toiletries.
Get Motrin, get your Tylenol, get all the different medications used as well, because some of them are female specific. Like my wife has a lot of different prescriptions as well. They're not female specific, but she's got prescriptions we've got to have an advance of. And some of them we do, some of them we can't, right? Because of regulations. And we've got an episode coming up that you'll be all excited to hear more about that, because we've got some hacks for you. But I'm not going to spill the beans yet. That beans? We talked about beans earlier.
Yeah, that's
I got it. We got it.
I'm a punny guy, guys. I'm on one today.
Scott's killing it tonight. That's awesome. We promised at the beginning we'd do a deep dive into maybe grab and go. What are some there's different reasons to grab and go. There's if you have 30 seconds, what do you grab and go? If you have 3 hours, what do you grab and go? And probably what we're going to focus in on is the shorter time frames to grab and go. Like Scott shared it in one of our podcasts, that if you have a day to get ready, you could probably fill up too much. And so these bags are going to be the kind of bags that you want to just grab and go. Maybe you're in a situation where you're being burglarized. Maybe you're having a fire. Maybe there's an earthquake, and you just got to grab and go. So Scott, did you mentioned that was something that was going to be good to talk about?
Yeah, that's part of it. But the other part is like the 2 philosophies behind that. There's the go bag, like I'm going somewhere farther away. I'm relocating to friends and family, or I'm relocating to my bug out location that is already pre-prepared, already pre-stockpiled. Like, and then there's also the scenario of a get home bag, which that's my favorite bag. Because I travel a lot and have for the years. I'm on the road all the time. And so if I'm 30 minutes away, it's not hard to get home. But if my car breaks down and the whole grid's down, that changes things. If I'm 3 hours away or 10 hours away, that changes things drastically. And so having the stuff in my car all the time to be able to get home is just as important as a go bag or bug out bag or 96-hour kit, whatever you want to call it, for an evacuation from home, whether it's planned or unplanned. Like unplanned would be the fires, the earthquakes, natural disasters, right? Martial law scenario where you're like, oh crap, time to get out of town, right? Hopefully you're not stuck when those things happen, but like these are the things you need to make sure you have. For example, copies of like pictures of everybody in the family, fresh pictures, so that you have identification for all of them. Not just IDs, but fresh pictures. Also, copies of important documents. Like, and those can include, some people are like, oh yeah, you need your marriage certificates. I'm like, why? I don't know that you need that, but maybe if you want to put it all on a digital drive, you can have those things. But like the most important things are your IDs, your pictures, and any important documentation you want to make sure you have access to later. I look at like bank account information because maybe I can't take my laptop. but I've got, hopefully you've got your memorized all of your logins, but have your account information. You don't have it all memorized?
No.
You're saying
Heck no.
No.
But I've got so many passwords up here and like different usernames.
Ridiculous.
I'm like, yeah, I can't remember people's phone numbers, but I got all my passwords, and like we've replaced that part of our brains. But like have duplicates of those things, and not everybody has to carry all those things in all their bags. Like if you've got kids, don't put all that in their bag. That's your bag. And I would recommend, honestly, the important documents, put that in both you and your wife's bag, or you and your significant other's bag, because it's not a lot of stuff. And you can put it on a little thumb drive, or if you're like me, I like having it paper so I don't have to stress about it. And if at all possible, in a Ziploc bag or waterproofed paper. But you can have like your passports, IDs, if you really want to have them, marriage license or your birth certificates, but important documents, family history, birth dates, user IDs and passwords, emergency phone numbers, channels and places you can look for additional information, maps. And like if you're in the woods or anywhere like that where you need to know what are my other alternate routes, national forest maps that show where all their roads are, the dirt roads, so you can find a way over a pass
too.
Yeah, physical.
One individual this weekend brought it up to me. You need to find this road. You need to have an UTV map. You have to have an off-road map for off-road vehicles. It won't show up on your standard topographical maps. Which, like, okay, cool. I'm going to go get those right now. So yeah, that's just something I learned this weekend.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where I would limit it on like the digital copies and paper copies. Like if you have all day, you're going to grab your photo albums and everything else. But if you don't, and you've just got to go, like if you're not loading your car up with all the other stuff, like I would load my car up with all the necessities I can take, the necessities, get our bags, get our water filters, and I've got all this staged, get our first aid kits, and then from there I go, okay, now we can add more food. Let's add more water and first aid, and then add more food.
Let me define what he means by staged. Like there's somebody right now listening to this thing like, oh yeah, I know, I got the birth certificates over there, and I've got the, the marriage certificate over there, and I got the, bank statements over there. I know where all that stuff is. I'll be able to get it. No. Staged means you have it already in a place where you can just grab it right now. If you don't know when the emergency is going to hit, it could hit in the next 30 minutes. It could hit tomorrow. It could hit next week. It could hit in 2 years. The point is that you got to have it ready right now and know where it is. I know where all my stuff is. This is a message. I'm telling you this because I need to hear it, by the way, this message. I know where all those things are. I know I have a file in upstairs, and I have a file downstairs, and there's things in each one of those files. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have these things in one place to grab and go. I need to make the change. And so I want to just kind of admit that, and also make the commitment to make the change and get those things together, so that you're not that guy that's like, well, I know where everything is. And then it happens. You're like, crap, I don't have time to get it all.
Well, and you guys met Stan Pruitt of Urban Survivors. He taught me this, and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did this. So in my car, I always have my get home bag, and that doesn't have all the important documents. It's just enough stuff to get me home, and expecting up to 3 days to get home. Right. If I'm traveling farther, I need more stuff, and I have that in modules I can stack on. But if it's just to get home, I don't need all the important documents. I need cash, right? Because most likely ATMs and everything else is not going to work, or something worth value that I can trade. So I carry silver and stuff like that. But I've got to depart. I've got 2 of those bags personally. So in case I need to go, like get out of here, emergency, if I can't get to one, I should be able to get to the other at all times. And one's stored towards the front of the house, one's stored in the basement towards the back of the house. Like, and there's exits near both. I can get them and get out. So if I can't, like if I'm stuck in the basement, I can grab my bag and work my way around the house to the front and check on my wife and kids and get them out. And maybe I can get my other bag, or maybe I can't. But he taught me that because he's like, I've got it staged over here, and I've got them staged over here. And then he's like, and I'm working on another one over here. And I'm all, 1 is none, and 2 is 1.
And 3 is just enough.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I come from when I think of that. Is I learned that from someone who's far more experienced than I am. And again, a takeaway that helps me be better prepared.
Yeah, and I think
That's
I mentioned in our previous conversation about kits is that I've tried to build bags and kits, and they're never complete. There's always something missing. So I've decided to be as modular as possible. So I've got multiple layers, call them layers, and it's quite difficult to explain, but essentially I've got the layer of my vehicle. I got the layer of the backpack in my vehicle. I've got the layer of what I carry on me and what I bring with me every day in my business bag. So that if, yes, I get stuck 3 days away from home, I take what I need from this kit. I take what I need from this kit or these modules and those modules, plug them in to my backpack and go as light as quick as possible. And, we have shared a list of items on our site, have we not? On our resources page.
Yep. Resources page, you can see we've got different sets of modules with one is the getting ready and where to start, and that goes into kind of our modular system. Mm-hmm. But then we also have the other one, which is just the what would you call it? It's the legacy system, which is more of like, here's the full list of everything you could possibly think of to put in. Mm-hmm. And if you did put all of it in, it's too heavy.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like you find out which works best for you. Do I need a knife and a crank solar radio and a battery powered radio and solar flashlights and flashlight and headlights? No, pick which of those make the most sense for you, so that you have a streamlined bag that you can go.
Yeah.
And if it's shelter in place, it's a different scenario. It's more stuff and it's modular and staged.
And I think I'd like to share a few items that are maybe the lesser thought of items that stand out to me, because there's all the regular things, right? We talk about shelter. For me, shelter when I'm moving is a good Gore-Tex jacket, right? That's part of my kit. That's my shelter, and that's what I'm going to do to move quick to get home. Don't forget your toilet paper. You're going to want toilet paper, and that's gonna and an extra pair of socks, right?
And they have the kind of toilet paper that's more compact. You don't have to big old double roll, mega roll. We're not talking about taking a mega roll. Get the camping.
You guys are camping crazy.
Toilet paper.
No, you're crazy.
You like?
I want to be able to use 80 pieces per wipe if I need to. Like I'm taking the whole roll.
You wouldn't believe how efficient I am, Scott. I'm extremely efficient.
I
practice every day. I practice being efficient every day.
Are we going to have a video training on that?
Heck no way. No. But okay, but here's something I was thinking about today is, this is a serious topic for me because I cover the entire state as part of my job. I am adding a folding bike to my truck here in the next few days. I'm going to put it. Only thing I had was like a skateboard, so I would throw that in my truck. So because I mentioned this before, I tried to walk 50 miles in a day, couldn't do it, and I was just walking, couldn't do it. So I need something else. So I got the skateboard in there. I'm going to add a folding bike to my truck. Another thing that I thought about is, I did not take into the account the goodwill of other people, on my way, especially the first few days of an emergency. Most people are not going to panic in the first couple of days. They can handle it. That's when I got to move. I got to get home quickly and take advantage of, and take advantage is the wrong word, but
utilize and enjoy.
Utilize exactly the goodwill of other people to be able to stay in their homes, to get some food or water, whatever I might need on my way. I guarantee there's gonna be a lot of good people you'll find on the way. So I know I'll be overly prepared when I do have to walk back home, but having the right shoes, right socks, the things in between, because in Utah, when there's quite a bit of span, if I'm in St. George, 4-hour drive home, that's a full week, maybe 2 weeks of walking to get home, right? So there's a lot of stuff you need, but those are the main things. And definitely my weak spot is the documents as well. Same as you, Paris. I mean, that's something I need to work on. But also I love having essential oils with me, just small vials of them, keep the bugs off, keep my mood up. I mean, keep my headaches down, those types of things. Carrying I have a little what I call a little possibles bag, and in that bag I have small versions of tiny compass, tiny glow sticks, right? I've got band-aids, I've got small duct tape, just kind of small version, and that could go from each bag. There you go. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about there, Scott. A little bit of pouch of essential oils. Yeah, absolutely. A signal mirror, so useful. Imagine if you hurt yourself on your face and you can't see what it is, right? So you pull out the mirror. That's a great survival tool, but also for signaling. It's also an amazing flashlight during the day. If you need to see into a dark spot, shine some light in there. That is an amazing tool. And I've got a long list here. I know we're again way over time. Here's one more thing. A shemagh. Do you guys know what a shemagh is? Shemagh is a huge bandana, 40-inch type of bandana.
I thought it was the dragon in the Hobbit movies.
Shemagh. Oh, there you go, Scott. Look at smog. There you go. Scott's got one handy right there. Yeah,
I've used this for some TikToks.
Yeah.
Do I have all the stuff I need for my prep bag? No, you don't, but you got a shemagh. Like that.
That's awesome.
That it works for that too. I didn't even think about that use.
It's great because then it's like some guys will put a little blanket up there, and I'm like, I got a shemagh. It works just as well. But a beard. I'm the bearded lady.
Things that work for have multiple uses, right? Shemagh has a million uses, right? You could use that for so many things. So
I look at it like Homeward Bound. Like, you guys remember the old movies? They all had the little red napkin tied around a stick.
Yeah.
Like, you can't carry, like, I got a can of beans and a can opener in there. You can't carry anything. But this you could do, like, you could turn into a backpack.
Yeah.
You can use this to, like, strap your kid to your chest. Like, there's so many amazing advantages that you can use.
Get it wet and wrap it around your head when it's hot.
Yeah,
that works amazing. So many great uses for the shemagh. But and then about water filters. When I'm hiking and want to move fast, I have a backpacking water filter that I can pump. Right, I don't want to have to worry about gravity or any of that stuff. Things that I can move fast with. So there you go. I got a long list. I can keep going forever. We're out of time.
I think we're way past. I think that's ideal. Good. Like when you're on, like, in a get home bag scenario, like Shane and I are both like very similarly minded in that regard, because there's things you just don't need on a get home bag. I don't need utensils. I don't need bowls, plates. I don't need to get fancy with my food. I've got food bars and
rations.
And rations. I don't have MREs. I don't have anything I need to cook. Why I don't have a stove. Nope. I'm like, no, my job is to get home. And if I have to walk 3 days, night and day to do it, that's the plan. Nap if I need to, get up and keep going. Quality shoes, second pair of socks. Do I have like all the N95 masks and my big rebreathers? No. I have one little mask.
Good hat.
It's called my shemagh.
Good hat.
Good hat.
Yep.
Right. Personal identification documents and a picture of my family. So that if I get home and they're not there, I can be like, do you guys know who these people? Do you know where they are?
Yeah.
Right. Do I need a tent? No. Mm-hmm. Could I do with my Gore-Tex jacket? Yes. Or if I'm not a Gore-Tex guy, like whatever, like if I've got a waterproof shell, that's shelter. If I need to build a fire, that's shelter. Like streamline it and make it as light as possible and always leave space in it. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. People fill it full, and then what do you do if you need to pick up something along the way?
Yep, absolutely.
And don't be afraid to pick up, like, hey, there's a canister. I can use that to carry other stuff. Or, first aid kit. Not just a first aid kit, but a hiker kit and a trauma kit combined.
Yep.
Because I'm thinking, like, what if I get a major cut? What if I'm in an accident and I need tourniquets? But also hiking, I need to have moleskin. I need to be able to take care of my feet. Those are the two most important things first aid wise in my car. And I failed on having a pump water filter there. I've got it in my other bags, but I'm like, I need, thank you, Shane, because I need to rethink that. I need to get a pump system for my bag, because that, like, you're on the go. Like, I don't have time to sit and wait. I've got to hurry and get it done.
Yeah.
So I think that was really good.
An important part of shoes is you can go get some good shoes, but if they're like, you go buy them and then put them in your car, you've never worn them. You don't know what they feel. You didn't break them in. You got to break in your shoes, and you don't want to be the first thing you do is hiking home in the brand new shoes, and they haven't been broken in. You get a blister in 30 or 40 minutes or an hour of walking. So have that, get good shoes, break them in, go on some hikes, use them, and then you'll be able to have them in your car and ready to go. And then you won't have some of those problems, but it's still good to have moleskins and other things ready to go. So I think unless we have anything else to kind of share, anybody have anything else, we can wrap it up.
One of the things I recommend is for that bag, a small radio with NOAA on it. National Association of what is it? No, basically the weather alert channels. I'm totally spacing. Because then you've got like emergency lines as well as getting those notifications, because those will pipe through even if it's off in like a standby mode. Those will pipe through, and you'll be like, oh, there's a major storm coming. There you go. Awesome to have.
Yeah,
because
little solar panel on there, crank handle. I can charge my phone with this too, so this would be a great thing to have in your kit too.
Yeah.
So some type of version like that, great to have, because your cell phone may no longer work depending on the scenario. Right? We want to plan for every possible scenario. The bigger we plan for, the easier it is to get through multiple scenarios.
Yeah.
Right. So think of the worst ones. That's why they call it doomsday prepping. We're not prepping for doomsday. We just look at doomsday as the best, like the worst case scenario. Well,
I'm prepping for doomsday.
See, I don't believe in doomsday.
There is a book called "There's No Such Thing as Doomsday." Especially when you're prepared, there's no doomsday.
Yeah, that's true.
There's going to be a lot of crap coming down the pipe, right? A lot of people are like looking forward to the dystopian life. I'm a very biblical person. I believe in God. I follow as best I can. I'm working on it. I know. I'm sorry, everyone. I try to follow the gospel of Jesus Christ every day. His promise is that he's coming back, and he's going to come back when it's bad, but he's going to make it all better. So I think, like, for me, like, doomsday is like the day after he comes. If he wouldn't come, that's what we'd be at. So that's what I'm planning for, the doomsday, but I don't believe it's going to get that bad. Not that I'm naive. I know it's going to get, like, people think it's going to get like zombie apocalypse. Those are fun movies. Well, depending on the audience. Some people like them. I don't like them. I think they're crazy. But I think it's going to get pretty bad. I think there's going to be social unrest. I think people will be violent one towards another, right? And that's when you have to have strategic plans. We're going to do a bug out scenario on another podcast so you guys can understand when to, when not to, how to, because 99% of people that think they're going to bug out are going to die because they haven't taken the right things into consideration. But it's going to get bad in real bad situations. There is, according to scripture, we are going to be in a world war situation. I don't know when, but we are. Another world war's coming. So we need to be prayerful about all the things we're doing to get prepared. We need to be prayerful about all the things we're doing just in life, and stay close to the best radio, which is God. Because if we do that, there's no guarantee we're getting through everything, but we'll live a better life of peace getting through everything as far as we can. And you can always get farther with God than you can anywhere else.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, with that, let's close up this hour of wonderful talk. I felt edified. I had a good time. I hope you guys all felt, as you were listening, you got some great information. And then we also had a great talk on pets. Those of you with animals, that you now know what to do to prepare your pets, your dogs and cats and other pets. Hopefully the ladies out there feel like they've been validated and they know what we need to do to get them prepared, or they need to do to get themselves prepared as well. And some things about grab and go and getting ready, and the car kits and having that stuff. So if you have any more information that you want to know, or if you've listened today and you still feel like you're needing more or wanting more, join our Facebook group, go to our website, preppertalkradio.com, go to the resources page, put in your email, get on our email list, download the resources that we have available to you there, get into our Facebook group, join us on our TikToks and our Facebooks and our YouTubes and everywhere we are, and make comments, ask us questions, get involved with the community that we're developing there. A lot of people who were at the expo are now in the group, and they've already commented and already made some friends, and we're already getting some value, and they're sharing things that with this new Facebook group that we have. And it's awesome. Also, we just launched our Rumble channel. So if you want to watch on Rumble, we're there. And so please have a wonderful week. Be prepared, stay prepared, be ready, stay ready, get ready, and make sure that whatever you do, wherever you are, that you're always constantly ready, because spiritually, physically, emotionally, have God, family, and country as your mantra and as your motto. So with that, thank you. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
Happy prepping, everybody.